Today was a very exciting day because the morning theme on TCM was my beloved Sylvia Sidney. And I've been trying to get Sylvia Sidney programmed on TCM since I started 2 years ago. So I succeeded. Um, and they showed 4 films, two of which I had not seen before. So I got two new films of hers under my belt now. I've seen about half of her filmography, or just slightly less, maybe 45%, mostly because the ones I'm missing are hard to find Paramount films. Paramount, give me the Sylvia Sidney films. I gotta track them down. It's gonna happen, I promise, eventually. But the ones I watched today were One Third of a Nation and The Wagons Roll at Night. One Third of a Nation takes its title, it's actually ... One Third of a Nation ... takes its title from the speech of FDR that he gave in the mid-30s, talking about how 1/3 of a nation lives in slum houses and is starving to death, basically, as he was rolling out the New Deal, obviously. It became a stage play, a very experimental stage play, which then became this very experimental film directed by Dudley Murphy, starring Sylvia Sidney in the lead role as Mary Rogers, a woman whose younger brother is what's the word I'm looking for? Terribly injured in a fire in the tenement building that they live in. The building is run down. It's not up to any codes, and it is a fire trap. He has to jump from the building in order to escape the flames because the fire escape is broken. He obviously does not do well, ends up in the hospital. The owner of the building, he doesn't know that this is his building because he's that rich that he doesn't even know what he owns. Played by Leif Erikson of the Group Theater, is driving by, and he uses his car to drive Sylvia Sidney and her brother to the hospital, and then pays the bills. Then finds out that he owned the building, and attempts to start to maybe do better by looking at what the housing is like and hearing from the tenants, except that he attempts to kick out. When he finds out that in the slum that he owns there's a prostitute, he tries to kick her out. Kind of very racy for a 1931 film to have a prostitute and have her be defended by everyone. They don't 100% call her a prostitute, but basically, and she's defended by everyone, and it's like, what? The brother is played by Sidney Lumet. This is his only acting role. His father was also in this film. His father was a great stage actor. Eventually, he realizes that he should not be a slumlord, and that the legacy of money leaving money to his family is not worth all of these families dying, and so he's going to rebuild the houses. However, other horrible things happen as before he comes to this realization. I'm not going to spoil those. I really enjoyed this film. The latest print is from the National Film Archive. They have a nice print that they lend out, and I hear it's been played at places like UCLA, so I'm imagining seeing this on the big screen would be lovely. Sylvia Sidney, as always, is amazing. She is often playing the older sister of a slum kid. That's just what she played in a bunch of roles in the 30s. But she aces those roles, and she's just so good. Oh, she's so good. I love her. The other film I watched is actually a Warner Brothers film. This is after she left Paramount, and this is the Wagons Roll at Night. I don't know why Wagons was so hard to say just then. It's directed by Ray Enright, who did a bunch of those strange Busby Berkeley musicals in the 30s. It co-stars Humphrey Bogart and Eddie Albert and Joan Leslie, and it is based on a story by Francis Wallace that was made once before. This was in 1937, Kid Galahad, directed by Michael Curtiz. I actually have not seen Kid Galahad. Humphrey Bogart has a small role in that. Kid Galahad was remade as a musical with Elvis in the 60s. I also have not seen this one. The Wagons, why is that so hard to say? The Wagons Roll at Night is the actual setting of the story at a circus rather than with a boxer. Why they took the story and made it into a boxer and twice, I don't know. People like their boxing films. This is a circus movie. Essentially, Sylvia Sidney is a God, I'm having the worst time remembering anything today. She is a fortune teller at a cheap circus run by Humphrey Bogart. His main attraction is a lion tamer who has found himself at the bottom of a bottle. When the lion escapes, the lion shows up at a grocery store in a small town where Eddie Albert manages to convince him not to eat anybody, and Bogart gets the idea to bring Eddie Albert in and train him to be a lion tamer. Eddie Albert, being a farm kid slash grocery store clerk, decides this might be a good life and goes off on the circus. Sylvia Sidney has become weary of the life as well as her relationship with Bogart. However, she doesn't quite fall in love with Eddie Albert's character. But when Eddie Albert's character ends up in a kerfuffle, she hides him at Bogart's farm, where he meets Bogart's kid sister. So in this case, Sylvia Sidney doesn't have a kid brother, but Bogart has a kid sister, played by Joan Leslie. Obviously, they fall in love because she's just come out of a convent, and Eddie Albert's very charming. This causes not quite a love triangle, but almost, but also Bogart does not want a carny near his sister. Man-eating lions are involved. That's all I'm going to say about the rest of this plot. What I thought was hilarious about this film was they keep calling Eddie Albert the kid as if he is young, and I think he's supposed to be playing like 22 or something. But Eddie Albert was only 7 years younger than Humphrey Bogart, and actually 4 years older than Sylvia Sidney. Yet they were supposed to be older than him. Eddie Albert always played younger than he was. He was like 50 or almost 50 when he was in, or he was over 50. Yeah, he was over 50, I think, when he was in Roman Holiday, and I'm always just like, what? Because he always looks so much younger than he is. It's terrifying. He honestly found the fountain of youth. The Wagons Roll at Night is available on DVD from Warner Archive Collection. You can watch both of these films on Watch TCM right now. I would say One Third of a Nation really highlights what makes Sylvia Sidney such a unique presence in the 30s. The Wagons Roll at Night is not the best film, and it's not the best Sylvia Sidney film, but she is always good. So I'm recommending it for that. Bogart's great in this. He's playing a freaking psychopath, and Bogart is always best when he's a little bit on the edge, as we all know. So he's really good in this film. I wish the rest of the film were as good. I enjoyed these films. I have to track down the rest of her filmography. Wish me luck.